For those who don't know, DeAndre Hopkins is on the cover of Sports Illustrated this week. The big font quote next to him is, "The outcome that I wanted." And here's what it said. The January afternoon at Arrowhead Stadium, that's the playoff loss, Hopkins tugged off his jersey, met with reporters, and found his mother, Sabrina Greenlee. Quote, this is what Hopkins said. "We talked about this before the year," she told him. "I know you guys had success as a team. You got further than the past, but if you're ready to go, I will be your number one supporter." Anyone who knew Hopkins, his story, and his relationship with O'Brien would understand, he thought. At that point, though, few did. His Houston tenure was over. Despite the teammates he loved, the quarterback he bonded with, and the city that had become his adopted home, what Hopkins knew was, quote, that asking for a little raise would lead to the outcome that I got, which is the outcome that I wanted. So that text, Seth, that you and I read semi-jokingly, but thinking that O'Brien said that Hopkins wanted a raise, so he traded him. Hopkins, this sounds like something where Hopkins may or may not have wanted a raise, but he knew that if he asked for one, that he could move on to somewhere else where he presumably felt like he would have a better relationship with the head coach, along with a chance to win football games.
Yeah, and there's another quote in there where he says, and he wants to be sure that the writer puts this in the article, that he and Bill O'Brien had no relationship. There was no relationship. And it's kind of striking if you think about the fact that Bill O'Brien spent 6 seasons here, and that by the end of that 6 seasons, DeAndre Hopkins didn't really feel like he had a relationship with Bill O'Brien. And that at times this past season, when Bill O'Brien tried to talk to DeAndre, to hear from DeAndre's people, it didn't seem like it was coming from a place of genuine concern necessarily, as much as it was of a way of explaining why they didn't have a relationship. So it was it doesn't paint a rosy picture of how it was for Bill O'Brien and DeAndre Hopkins interpersonally.